Yo, what is good, everyone? Today we're going to be looking at the one setup that I took today. I'm going to try to keep this one a little short as I'm not on my regular setup, so I don't really know if the mic is that good or the quality, but I think the quality should just be fine. But yeah, so getting into it, pretty much we had a little bit of accumulation at open. I believe there was CPI today, so I think that's why. And then after around the AM session going into lunch hour, we started to have a slow trend down. I was not on during the AM session. I know I said in my last video that I would start to be, and I actually have been. It's just because of election. I decided to not really trade at all, just to wait till it was over and stuff like that. So we're getting back into it this week actually now. And then yesterday was Veterans Day, so did not trade yesterday. So yeah, but I got on around I think it was like 109, 110. And I'll just say off the bat what I'd noticed is if I was looking at this at 1 p.m., there is a high likelihood, I see us trending down. And once we had got this inversion, if I would have been on, I probably would have taken the short. Now, stops, or not stops, but my stop would have more than likely been right above the high. That's, I thought that wasn't going to be that many points, but it still kind of is. Um, Again, this is hindsight in the fact, but, you know, could have been likely I would have taken a short, but if I would have done more evaluation into it, yeah, I mean that's too low. See on the 15 minute. Mm, Maybe not honestly then, because I mean I don't even have anything to target. So yeah, I mean it's a tricky situation because like the reason why I would normally take shorts in this situation, especially if we had, you know, resting liquidity to take out, is because of the fact that when I look at this, I've seen this so many times where, you know, we're going into a certain session, and more than likely, I always think to keep in mind of a reversal, but I've also seen sessions where the whole day is like this. And so it's one of those tricky things I feel like where it's really hard to get a good analysis on it, at least in my personal trading experience and so far in my career. But I would say now that I actually looked like, further back, that I probably wouldn't have taken a short because there was nothing to really target. And I'm not just gonna target like this and then lower my stops to 16 point. It just doesn't make sense. It's not really worth it. So, but I also did have in mind that again, like I said, we could probably reverse because like around this time when I hopped on, I still could have been short, but I still was short bias. We take out this high and then we see an inverse, probably on the 2 minute or the 3 minute. Oh, I got kicked off, but yeah, whatever the highest time frame would have been, which at like this point or like right here, I guess would have been like the 2 minute, or even if we just went through the 1 minute inverses, but yeah, until we started to actually rise up to this point, I was like, okay, this is probably where we're gonna see a reversal now. So yeah, we came up, ended up leaving this high, created an SMT to the downside, started respecting it. So I was like, okay, this is going to be perfect for a rebalance. So first time I used a fib in a while, took out the fib, marked the 50%, and I think on like a high time frame that yeah, so like this 5 minute fair value gap was 50% of the range. So I would have had, or I did actually place a limit order right here. Now, again, I know this isn't part of my strategy, and technically I shouldn't be doing this, but you know, the conviction is really high on something like this, at least from what I was seeing. And I was only trading micros, which again, I'm not even going to get into that. But as of right now, if I'm trading a micro then that is my, less risk on the table form. So yeah, I placed a limit order here, and as you can see, I barely didn't get filled, and which is actually a good thing though, because now I got to see what I actually want to see for my strategy. So we start coming up. We did not tap into the 50% zone, which you know, is also a little tricky scenario because sometimes it could be like a fake out in a sense, like we leave this low, come up, and that's also what I was expecting is to possibly see us, retrace up a little bit and then really take out this low and then get closer to the 50%, and that could have entered us in. But anyways, we got the inversion. Perfect. What I wanted to see. I literally entered as soon as we inverse. Problem was I entered with 1 micro. And again, this is a high conviction setup, and I was honestly trying to get into basically a full E mini. But one thing I'm gonna start trying out is just trading 10 micros if I'm gonna do, the equivalent to a full E mini, because I want to be able to have take profits, multiple take profits. Because one thing I've realized recently in my trading is that there's many times, and again, I will be honest, there's a few videos I haven't made of trade recaps, but again, they've honestly been break evens. It's just I've had multiple, what could have been take profits taken out, and I was just going for the final TP, which is again not really the best thing to do, and then I just end up getting stopped out at break even. So today, again, this was perfect because really there was only two, which is fine because I took half off here, and then I'll get into this in a sec. But anyways, though, I did enter originally here, and then I entered for 9 more here, so that was like where my average was. And then yeah, I will just play this out now. So once we had the inversion, again, I traded 10 micros, so it's basically full E-mini equivalent. I mean, it is. Besides the fact that I kind of like averaged in with 9 more. That's the only like weird part about it. So yeah, I'll let this play out real quick, although it will not let me. Okay, so took off 5 there. Okay, I can't click my cursor. Took off 5 there at the 5 minute fair value gap or SIBI or whatever. Um and then yeah, so took off half my position there, set stops to break even, and then again the target was this. I didn't really mention this earlier. I feel like this is already taking so long, but it's this 15-minute sell side liquidity, also on the 5 minute too, or 15-minute significant high, whatever. And so ended up letting it ride obviously to the take profit after I took 50% off. And look how close we were. I mean, it was like a couple points off, but it was jumping. I thought I was going to take it out. And then I kept letting it play out. And then it was right around here that I was like, okay, let me check ES real quick. So I go to check ES, and it had turned out that, oh, hopefully that didn't, okay, I still got it. It had turned out that we had already taken out the high on ES. And so that left us with an SMT. So now my thought process is here. Well, I've had this happen before. I think in the past, usually it's taken out my take profit, but I'm pretty sure there's times too where it has it respected the SMT and then just came down and stopped me out of break even because it got taken out on the other pair. So this time, once I noticed the SMT, hold on, I want to be careful because yeah, I think it was right about here. So this red line, so basically the 5 minute, honestly, or where I had taken profit the first time. That's where I set to my new like break even, I guess, and or I should say stopped in profit. So yeah, I got stopped in profit, and then I'll just fast forward it, and then after literally like I literally got stopped out by like I think more than a tick, and then it ended up going out and taking out what would have been the final take profit. So I really did like this setup. I don't like how it sucked that I had to enter in for 9 contracts here. Could have gotten a little more value out of that. But it is what it is. And then as for being stopped out in profit, honestly, I used to think of it like it's like annoying, like, I had to break even, blah blah blah. But again, what I've realized too is I think for me just leaving it at break even, especially in circumstances where it's showing signs that, we could come down. I don't know how far we're going to come down. Yeah, we're leaving a lot of like bissies to have respected, but again, nothing is guaranteed in trading. So I'm going to protect the capital or the profits that I have. So yeah, I left like another 200 on the table, but at least I secured 400 in total. So yeah, it would have been 600, but I secured 400 in total. So yeah, I left 200 off the table or whatever. But again, I could have left another 200 off the table if it went back to break even. And yeah, it just so protecting when I'm in positions is something I'm gonna try. And then again, obviously, like I said, I'm gonna start doing 10 micros now to see how that goes, to have five to take off and another five. And yeah, that's basically it for today, though. So yeah, just one trade on the session. A little scuffed. Could have been another possible entry, and then that could have honestly been like, if I want to put on a little more size, like add more cons to my position. But yeah, that's it for today. So I'll see you guys next time, whenever that is. Peace.